Federal officials in Ottawa, Canada are raising concerns over regulations for semi-autonomous cars that don't require much activity from the driver. The Canadian Automated Vehicle Centre of Excellence fears passengers' engagement in other activities, including sex, will be heightened as computers will be doing the driving and not the people. Federal officials have been vocal about the need to develop some regulatory framework to govern driverless cars, with Transport Canada leading the development of these regulations.
What do the Canadians have against sex in the car?
What does anybody have against sex in the car?
Right.
I mean, so there, these officials are saying that, there needs to be some regulatory framework to govern these driverless cars. And the vehicles also need to be equipped with some sort of a fail-safe mechanism that can respond to situations when the driver is maybe not available, just for protection. Some federal officials are even saying maybe they need to get a black box so that there's a black box data recorder like on large aircrafts.
I think this is a very temporary problem. Dealing with the issue of semi-autonomous cars, like the Teslas, for example, that we're seeing now, where you don't have to necessarily be driving at all times, but you should be there, you should be tentative, you should know what's happening. Now, fast forward to, let's say, 10 years from now, I have a feeling that there's going to be cars on the road where you can do whatever the hell you want. It's going to be rows of seating, maybe facing each other. There's going to be absolutely no responsibility on the driver's part whatsoever, except for typing in the destination on the way there. So I think, that might be a problem for now because, the Tesla is being touted as like this autonomous car, but you still have to be there. You still got to be aware of what you're doing. So that could be an issue if people get a little too comfortable. But I think in the long term, it's a temporary issue that's going to be solved once, we really get the autonomy going. And
the Tesla, to your Tesla point, they have their hands-free self-steering, but there's a beep. If you don't have at least a finger on the, on somewhere on the steering wheel, that there's a beep that goes off in the car to alert you to that. And also, there's been media reports with Tesla saying that people are engaged in some questionable activity, and other stuff like brushing their teeth, reading the newspaper. So there's other stuff going on. I mean, a part of this though feels like it's a little bit of a question of convenience versus practicality. Because it's a convenient thing, as you were saying, to type in where you're going and just to be, driven there, versus the practicality of I'm going to drive and be in control. Yeah.
But you know what? People are going to do stupid stuff while driving no matter what. You're going to have people drunk driving. You're going to have people drunk text driving. You're going to have dumb people shaving, brushing their teeth, reading the newspaper anyways, even when the car's not autonomous whatsoever.
There's people that are doing this now. Yeah,
exactly. So it's only, it might happen more often, but that's because you don't have to pay attention to as much, right? Yeah. So I think it's a good thing. And I don't see what the Canadians have against people, having fun in their car on the way to the club or whatever. Drinking. Isn't that the whole point of autonomous cars is we can eradicate problems like accidents that are usually caused by people doing stupid shit. And people are going to do it no matter what. So
it's like your own personal chauffeur.
Maybe it's a way to subsidize all the tickets that won't happen now. They can tax people for doing stupid stuff while driving because Lord knows we're not going to be able to give them speeding tickets. We're not going to be able to give them parking tickets. So maybe this is a way now to
and this is where
make sure we tax people.
And this is where that pushback is coming from, from the federals in Canada saying, so how do we govern these driverless vehicles? How do we govern this? What's the governance that's going to be in order? Exactly. That's going to be interesting too. About
I think maybe some tax that you have to pay driving a certain amount of miles every day. After 20 miles, you got to pay a few bucks or whatever. Maybe that's something that could happen.
I guess we'll have to see. Convenience, practicality. Where do you stand on this?